The seal dog's warning. Start instantly in the scene. Packed airport. Elderly woman in wheelchair. SEAL handler struggling to control the German Shepherd, who is barking like he senses something deadly. People staring. Officers rushing in. No explanations. Pure panic. The dog isn't attacking, he's warning. The old woman trembles, clutching her coat. An officer shouts for backup. The handler tries to pull the dog away, but the dog lunges again, barking directly at her legs. A medic kneels, then freezes. Something is under her blanket. Something moving. Something wrong. And just as the officers realize what this seal dog has been trying to warn them about, the woman suddenly collapses. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The airport buzzed with its usual noise when the seal dog suddenly snapped forward, barking so violently that passengers froze mid-step. His handler tightened his grip, muscles straining, but the German Shepherd lunged again, aimed directly at an elderly woman in a wheelchair. She flinched, clutching her coat, eyes wide with confusion and fear. People stepped back. Officers rushed in, unsure whether the dog sensed danger or was warning them of something worse. The dog barked harder, teeth bared, refusing to stand down. A medic knelt beside the woman, but stopped cold. Something moved beneath her blanket slow. Unnatural. A chill rippled through the officers, and before anyone could react, the elderly woman suddenly collapsed forward. Chaos rippled through the terminal as the elderly woman slumped deeper into her wheelchair. Passengers backed away, whispering nervously. Officers tightened their formation, unsure whether they were dealing with a medical emergency or an active threat. But the seal dog made the decision for them. He lunged again, barking with a frantic urgency his handler had never seen before. "Easy, easy." The handler shouted, but the dog refused to retreat, muscles locked, eyes fixed on the woman's covered legs. One officer hesitated, then reached for the coat draped over her lap. The fabric lifted slowly. He froze in place, face draining of color. Under the lifted blanket, a swollen patch of skin stretched across the woman's leg, dark, inflamed, and pulsing with heat. The medic leaned in, startled by the sheer temperature radiating from her body. The seal dog growled low, pacing in tight circles, reacting as if the danger were growing by the second. "I'm fine," the woman insisted weakly, her voice trembling. "I just need to sit for a moment." But the strain in her words betrayed her. Sweat gathered at her temples, her breaths uneven and shallow. A sharp twitch rippled across her leg, making the medic jerk back. Before anyone could speak, the woman suddenly cried out, gripping the sides of her wheelchair in agony. Her leg spasmed again, harder this time, making the wheelchair tremble beneath her. The medic moved forward instinctively, but the seal dog barked sharply, forcing him to pause. Something was happening inside her body, something escalating fast. Passengers stared from a distance, horrified yet unable to look away. I can't feel my foot," the woman whispered, panic rising in her eyes. Her fingers trembled as she reached toward her shin, but another wave of pain shot up, twisting her face. "Get a stretcher," the medic shouted, snapping the officers into motion. But before they lifted her, the seal dog jerked violently toward her leg again, warning them something far worse was moments away. As the officers gripped the wheelchair and prepared to lift her. The woman's body sagged suddenly, her head rolling to the side. Her eyelids fluttered, then drooped, her breaths turning thin and irregular. The seal dog let out a low, trembling whine sound that made the handler's stomach twist. He had seen this reaction only when someone was seconds from collapse. "She's fading." The medic yelled, pressing 2 fingers against her neck. Her pulse thudded weakly under his touch. "We need to move now." Officers rushed to clear a path, but the seal dog stayed right beside her, refusing to fall back. Then the medic looked up, pale. "We're losing her." They pushed the wheelchair rapidly through the terminal, the woman barely responding as her body slumped sideways. The seal dog stayed glued to her, matching every step with unwavering urgency. People parted instinctively, watching the frantic procession streak past them. The medic knelt while moving, cutting open the fabric around her leg. As the cloth peeled away, the heat radiating from her skin hit him like a blast. Her calf was swollen tight, shiny, stretched to its limit. "This is bad," he muttered under his breath. "Real bad." Before he could say more, a sudden, sickening crack echoed in the hallway like something inside her had just burst. The woman screamed as the crack echoed, her body curling inward in raw, uncontrollable pain. The medic recoiled, eyes widening as dark fluid seeped through the swollen tear along her leg. Officers stumbled back, horrified. The seal dog barked with explosive force, pushing people away as if shielding them from whatever was happening inside her body. "Keep distance," the medic shouted. "This infection just ruptured." Her breaths turned ragged, each one shorter than the last. Her hands trembled violently as she reached for the medic, whispering something he couldn't understand. Then her eyes rolled slightly, her grip loosening. Within seconds, her entire body slumped. She was slipping away fast. Paramedics reached the hallway at a sprint, sliding the stretcher beside her collapsing body. They lifted her swiftly, securing straps as her head lolled to the side. The seal dog tried to climb up after her, whining with a desperate urgency none of them had ever heard. His handler pulled him back gently, but the dog fought the restraint, eyes locked on the fading woman. "Move. We're out of time," a paramedic yelled, pushing the stretcher toward the ambulance bay. They rushed through the doors, cold air blasting over them. Inside the ambulance, monitors beeped frantically. "Prep emergency surgery," the lead medic barked. "Now." At the hospital entrance, the paramedics rushed her inside, disappearing behind swinging doors as nurses shouted orders down the hallway. The seal dog paced in tight circles, nails clicking sharply against the floor, his breathing fast and uneven. He kept staring at the doors, ears pinned forward, as if he could hear her heartbeat fading somewhere beyond the walls. The handler tried calming him, but the dog wouldn't sit, wouldn't blink, wouldn't stop trembling. Something inside him stayed locked on her like a thread he refused to let break. Moments later, a nurse burst out of the trauma room, calling for more equipment. Something was far worse than expected. The operating room doors swung open for a moment, and the surgeon stepped out, mask lowered, sweat beading across his forehead. The seal dog froze, staring up at him as if demanding answers. The surgeon looked between the dog and the handler, disbelief tightening his voice. "She was minutes from complete systemic collapse," he said. A deep internal infection had been building pressure for days. The rupture triggered a rapid drop another few minutes, and she wouldn't have made it. The handler swallowed hard. So the dog. He sensed it. The surgeon nodded slowly, still stunned. The handler sank onto a bench, exhaling shakily as the seal dog pressed against his leg. The dog's body still trembled, ears locked on the operating room door, as if he refused to let the woman slip from his awareness for even a second. The handler rested a hand on his back, whispering, "You did everything right, buddy." Time dragged on. Finally, the surgeon returned, this time with a tired but relieved smile. "She's stable," he said. She asked, "For the dog?" The handler blinked, startled. The dog lifted his head instantly, tail shifting in a tiny, hopeful wag. The hospital room was quiet when they entered, machines softly beeping around the frail elderly woman. Her eyes lifted immediately at the sight of the seal dog. Tears pooled as she reached out with trembling hands. The dog stepped forward gently, placing his head in her lap with a slow, deliberate softness that made her breath hitch. "You saved my life," she whispered, fingers sinking into his fur. "You knew, even when I didn't." The handler watched silently, pride swelling in his chest. The woman smiled weakly. "You're my angel." The dog closed his eyes, leaning into her touch.